Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Royal Caribbean is the latest cruise line to announce more cancellations. And one is going to be a little bit more of a surprise than the rest. That's right, Royal Caribbean has canceled the cruises further out for the rest of this year to Canada and New England and Alaska. No one is really surprised by that, as Canada has just said no cruise ships are allowed to come to our ports until the end of October, which basically says the 2020 season is completely gone. We are not taking any cruise ships for 2020 because no cruise ships really come to Canada in November and December unless they're just passing by, heading to New York to drop off a transatlantic crossing. So yeah, that's a pretty big hurt for the Canadian economy and those ports as well. But it's not expected. What was unexpected though, however, is they've also canceled Hawaii cruises on the West Coast. Royal Caribbean will no longer have any Hawaiian cruises for 2020. Now that's a little bit of a surprise to a lot of people, but if you look at Hawaii, Hawaii has more restrictions on that state than any other state in the United States. In fact, if you're a tourist and you travel to Hawaii, you are forced into isolation for 14 days. So your vacation, or you're outside of like you're visiting family or anything, you are automatically forced into 14 days of isolation, and people have actually been arrested for breaking that 14-day restriction. So they have some of the most severe restrictive laws in the entire world, really, if not the United States. So it doesn't seem as a big surprise of those who know that situation and what's going on in Hawaii, but people are now asking, what does that mean for the rest of the cruise lines? We know Norwegian Cruise Line has the Pride of America in that area. It is the only actual United States registered cruise ship of all the big cruise lines, and it basically just sails around in in Hawaii. So what's going to happen with it? Well, a lot of people have actually speculated, well, if Hawaii's not going to open up yet, because it's an actual American cruise ship, they don't fall under the same restrictions as all the other cruise ships in North America, where if you leave or come to United States port, you have to have at least one stop outside of the country. So you have to stop in Canada. You have to stop somewhere, Mexico. However, the Pride of America is registered in the United States, so they could actually go from port to port to port in the United States and not fall under any of those restrictions. So they could actually be the very first cruise ship, if these restrictions are extended, come to the West Coast and just go up and down the California coast and, inside along Texas area and stuff like that. Who knows what the plans are? Everything is still up in the air, basically because we don't know what the CDC is going to do with their restrictions. No one has any idea what they're going to do. They may decide to go and say it is now up to the individual state on whether or not to open up their cruise ports. And then in that case, you could have Texas open up, you could have California stay closed. You could have Florida open up, you could have New York stay closed. It will be a cluster. And so that will be, let's just hope they just lift the restrictions and say, we are monitoring what you're doing. We have given you guidelines like they just did to Norwegian Cruise Line. They worked with them. Of course, they're working with the other cruise lines as well. It's not just, we're just working with Norwegian Cruise Lines. We're not going to work with the other. No, they're working with all the cruise lines to set guidelines and set procedures to get ready. So let's hope that when the time comes, and let's hope they don't wait until 5 days before the restriction is due to end to finally say, okay, we're lifting it. Give us 30 days at least. Give us as much time as you possibly can, because people have money invested, people have vacations invested, people have all kinds of, there's just people on hold right now waiting for the CDC to make up their mind so the cruise lines can make up their mind so we can make up our mind. So let's hope they don't wait till the last minute to decide something. Let's hope they tell us that we are going to be easing restrictions and we were going to be opening up with some modified restrictions in the future even. But give us that clarity so that we know that, yes, some cruises are still actually going to start. We can book if we want. Maybe the countries like Canada, United States might decide to open up their border restrictions if the CDC is opening the cruise restrictions. You see how a lot of things can happen and a lot of things we have to wait for. So it's now all basically in the hands of the CDC, and we'll have to sit and wait until we see what they're going to do. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Hawaii was a surprise? Canada, New England, Alaska, not really a surprise because of the Canada extension to their ban for apparently no reason. They haven't given us a clear reason. They haven't said the virus is on the rise, or we have outbreaks, or this is going on. In fact, it's completely the opposite. It's going down. So why did they extend the restrictions? They didn't tell us. They just said because they're doing it. So that's where we stand here in Canada, in the United States. Let's hope the CDC is much more clear and we get a much broader picture of what's going to go on. It's the waiting around and the unknown that is really causing havoc with a lot of people. And so let's see what happens. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.